What's up YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, it appears that ninjas have invaded Darkwing Blast. Yeah. Now if you guys don't know anything about the ninjas, it's a I wouldn't say it's an archetype, but it's a series of cards that have been around since the game first came about in 2002. It's had pretty much every single level, every attribute, every spell, every trap you could think of in the game involving ninjas, whether it was the ninjutsu art, spells and traps, whether it was like fusions, pendulums, synchros, exceeds pretty much every card, pretty much all types of cards you could think of, ninjas have been a part of. So hopefully you guys are ready for this video. If you guys are and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos in the future, which typically get posted on Tuesdays, sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Let's get straight into it. I believe there are 8 cards to talk about in this video, so I will try to get through them and get through all of them, hopefully. Because there was something else that I wanted to talk about in this video. There was another card I wanted to talk about as well. Excuse me. There was another card, another like 2 cards that I wanted to talk about in this video. So hopefully we can get to them. But let's get straight into it, if my laptop will let me. Thank you. First up, we have Sky Ninja Tobari, which is a 1-star Earth winged beast. Yeah, I never thought ninjas would ever have a winged beast. Who knew? With zero attack and defense, and the first and third effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads: you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a ninja from your hand in face up or face down defense. Second effect reads: cannot be sure by battle or card effects the turn it was special summon or flip face up. Third effect reads: during your opponent's main or battle phase as a quick effect, you can fuse summon a ninja from your extra deck using monster from your hand or field as fusion material. So this is basically the new way to fusion summon. It's basically their poly. Basically. Excuse me. And not only that, but it's also protected by itself, basically. So not much else to say about that. If you guys hear me sniffle a bit, yeah, it's allergies, unfortunately. It's allergies, and I literally also just woke up as well, so yeah. But again, basically it's a new version of polymerization where you can fusion summon pretty much any ninja fusion, which I believe there aren't a whole lot of them, I think. Let me go on to Nexus and I'll see. Pick a random deck. Ninja. Go fusion. Yeah, I figured there really wasn't anything. Yeah, so there really isn't a Ninja Fusion. I was under the impression that there was, but I guess not. But there might be in the future, but who knows? But yeah, this is basically their polymerization, which is pretty cool. The only downside though, is that the only downside is that it says the first effect says you can, meaning it's one of those effects where it can, no pun intended, miss timing. So cards such as such as Call By and also Ghost Bell can also stop Tobari from special summoning. So that's like the only downside, but other than that, you got a pretty decent poly right there. Next up we have Insect Ninjamitsu, which is a 2-star water insect with 200 attack, 2100 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads: if you control a ninja card or a face down defense position monster, special summon. It's a Cyber Dragon. I'm not saying anything else about it except that it is a Cyber Dragon. And then the second effect reads: when your opponent activates a monster effect as a quick effect, you can target one of your face down defense position monsters, change the face up defense, and if you do, change this card to face down position to face down defense position. Then, if the targeted monster was a ninja, except this card, negate that opponent's activated effect. So basically, it's essentially a Solemn Judgment Book of Moon. That's all it is. It's essentially a Solemn Judgment Book of Moon, but again, just like Tobari, it says when your opponent it says when, meaning it's gonna miss timing. So you gotta try and chain something to chain block your opponent from activating their own Solemn Strike or something like that. So you gotta try and chain something, which could literally be anything. That's something that, this is the reason why I don't like the ninja archetype, is that these effects can miss timing really quickly, and it's something that some people don't see, which, why people don't see it, I don't know. I don't know if it's because that they don't like to read cards. I don't know what the hell, but it's one of those things that can miss timing. Take Goblinberg for example. It says when this card is summoned, meaning it'll miss timing, and it can give your opponent the chance to negate it with something else, or counter, or perhaps like chain that to something else that basically forces Goblinberg to not trigger its effect. This card, on the other hand, is basically the exact same thing. Not much else to say about it. Next up we have Beast Ninja Baku, which is a 3-star wind beast. 1500 attack, 600 defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing, you can special summon it. It basically has the Breeze the Zephyr effect, where if it's added to your hand from your deck, basically you get to just summon it right away, which is not. I mean it's not too bad. It does give you a body on board. The only problem though is that effect Veiler will always come into play, especially when you want to trigger the second effect, which reads: if this card is special summoned or flip face up, You can target one ninja or ninjutsu art card in your grave, or face up spell and trap zone, except this card, return it to the hand. So it's essentially a compulse, where you can target one of your back row, jump it, bounce it back to your hand, and then when you draw more back row, you can just set the back row, and you're pretty much just off to the races there. Next up, we have Musket Ninja Kagero, which is a 4-star fire warrior, 1600 attack, 2000 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads: if this card is normal special summon or flip face up, you can special summon one ninja monster from your hand or grave in defense position, except this card. So it's essentially a so this effect is essentially a cyber rest system where you can just summon any ninja from your hand or grave directly to the field, which will give you access to the fusion, which I will talk about here in a second. So basically you get to normal summon Kagero, activate its effect, summon out Tobari, activate Tobari's third effect, or actually set pass. Your opponent goes during their battle phase. Use Tobari and use Kagero to summon out the fusion, which I will get to that in a second. And you're just pretty much just off to the races there, which is not too bad, I have to admit. Second effect reads: when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a ninja card or face down defense position monster you control, and no other cards, and this card is in your grave, as a quick effect, you can special summon this card in face down defense, and if you do, return the targeted card to the hand. So basically it's a monster reborn compulse. So it basically lets you compulse the target back to your hand, so your opponent does not have any targets at all. But as I said before, it has the when effect, meaning it'll miss timing. So you gotta try. So you gotta try and make sure that you're able to bypass that by chain blocking your opponent, so they cannot negate this effect to bounce your ninja monster back to your hand, while at the same time summoning this card face down from your graveyard. So again, chain blocking is always key when your effects have the when effect. Next up, we have War Ninja Misen, which is actually the fusion that I had just talked about. It's a 6-star Dark Warrior fusion, 2500 attack, 1500 defense, and it requires two ninjas with different types. And it says must first be either fusion summoner or special summon. Yeah, sorry guys, some got caught in my throat. Or special summon from the extra deck by retributing the above cards. And the third effect is a once per turn. And the first effect, sorry guys, I apologize. Something is caught in my throat. That, and I also have slight allergies as well, so I do humbly apologize. But the first effect reads: your ninja monsters can attack directly. So it basically just bypasses your opponent's board, and depending on what you have, depending on what ninja monsters you have, you could potentially have enough damage on board for game. You could. You never know. Second effect reads: cannot be targeted for attacks while you control a face-down defense position monster. So if your opponent is to target this card for attacks, and you have another face-up ninja on board, like say let's say Baku, you can then activate Book of Moon, set the Baku, and Misen is basically unharmed for the most part, which is not too bad. Third effect has another win effect, and it reads, when your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can special summon one ninja from your deck and face up or face down defense. So it's basically a chain. It's a way to. So with effects like this, it gives you the chance to chain, again, as I said before, chain block your opponent to a point where they have no choice but to let that chain resolve, and to just go and to basically summon and face up the Kagero, trigger Kagero's effect, summon out the Tobari or summon out the Mitsu, and then just go into a link play from there, and you're just off to the races from there. But funny enough, you can also use also some of the other ninjas that are also in the archetype as well. And some of them, if I can go to the deck, let's see. So some of the ninjas you can use are obviously the Dragon Ninjas is it's like one of the big archetypes you can use. So Yellow Dragon Ninja, Black Dragon Ninja, White Dragon Ninja, Red Dragon, Senior Silver is another really good one that they can use. You can also, I didn't realize that you can also use as well Katakuri Ninja MDL 7749 Nanashik. You could also use that. Blue Dragon, Yellow Ninja, Earth Armor Ninja. Pretty much all these you can use. So again, the Katakuri Ninjas, the Dragon Ninjas are some of the major cards they can use with this with this archetype, because truth be told, they're different attributes and they all have different effects, just like these cards here. They also have different effects depending on what you do. And again, by chain blocking your opponent using the Dragon Ninjas or like some sort of draw card or whatever, it forces your opponent to either chain a card that makes no sense at all, or let the chain resolve, and they eventually just scoop, which is pretty sad for your opponent for the most part. Next up, we have Novel Ninjutsu Art Book, which is a quick play spell, and it has two separate effects. First effect reads, if your opponent controls a card, set one Ninjutsu Art spell or trap, or one ninja monster, one from your deck and one from your graveyard, except this card. Basically, it lets you just make your board. It just helps further make your board, which is really cool, which is not too shabby. Second effect reads, if this set card is sent to the grave, you can target one face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense. So this is essentially their, so it's essentially, it's as if you have 6 Book of Moons, 3 original Book of Moons, and then of course you got the art books as well, because it lets you set one of your monsters, or perhaps one of your opponents, from face up to face down defense. So again, it's essentially a Book of Moon, which is pretty cool. Actually, you have more Book of Moons as well. You have we have Ninjutsu Art Equipment, Kanamagura, and I think the second effect of that one is the same. yeah, so the second effect is the same, where if it's sent from the field to the grave, target one of your banished ninjas, either add it to your hand or special summon and face down defense. Okay, so it basically, I thought I read that wrong. I thought I read it differently, but it seems that I read it wrong. Basically, it acts as a monster reborn, so to speak, with the second effect. But the first effect reads: the equipped monster gains 500 attack and it's treated as a ninja monster. There you go. There you go. And then the last card is Ninjutsu Art of Fallen Leaves Dance, which is a continuous trap, and both of its effects are a hard once per turn. And the first effect reads: activate this card by targeting one ninja monster or face down defense position monster on the field, tribute it, and if you do, spell summon a ninja from your deck. So this basically gives you access to summon Yellow Dragon Ninja, and then go into a synchro play right off the bat if you have a 1-star tuner or 2-star tuner, or perhaps even go into a rank 8 play, such as I think Zombie Sign is one of the is a card that you could use in the deck. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Oh, never mind. Zombie Sign needs 2 8-star darks. So basically, Tachyon Dragon would be one. Let's see what are some of the rank 8s you could run. Monster category. Let's go XCs. Just nilly dilly. Let's go 8. TCG and OCG, and then go to all. Search. So some of the rank 8s you can go into, just to name some of them. If you have multiple level 8s on board, you can go into cards such as number 87, Queen of the Night. Number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo, which is a pretty nasty card. You can even I would say you could go into Dragulon, but you can't, unfortunately. You can go into you can actually go into number 97 Draglubion, because it's a generic rank 8 XCs, which is pretty cool. Zombie Vampire could be another one you can go into. Cypher Dragon is another one. Tachyon Dragon. The new Herodic XCs, Herodic Sky Dragon, Overlord of Heliopolis. Herodic Sun Dragon you can go into. As well. What else? Coach King Giant Trainer is a pretty hilarious one. Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand, which, if you guys have not seen the card as a ghost rare, woo, it is gorgeous. You can also go into cards such as Dingirsu, number 68, Sandoval of the Sky Prison, number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. Or even also number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, which is a pretty cool one to go into, which is not too bad. Which again is not too bad. But again, chain blocking. You gotta try and chain block your opponent. That way they can't do anything about it. They cannot do anything about it. Let's see here. When the card leaves the field, send the summon monster to the graveyard. Ooh, damn. Second effect reads: if this card is face up, you can target one Ninjutsu Art continuous spell of trap in your spell and trap zone, return it to the hand. So it's essentially a compulse, which is pretty cool. Alright, you guys. Now I'm gonna be talking about two more new cards that will be in Darkwing Blast, and the first one, we are getting a brand new like. I guess another like form of like tour guide of sorts. We have news reporter from the underworld, which is a Dark Fiend Link 2 with 1,000 attack, and its arrows are left and bottom, and requires 2 effect monsters. The second effect is a once per turn, and this card cannot be used as Link material the turn it was Link summoned. First effect reads, if a monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you contribute 1 Fiend monster instead. This can actually work with I would say this could work with Dark World, but the problem with this in Dark World is that you're mainly using your, especially with my build, you're using your extra for the most part. You're not using your main the Dark World monsters themselves to attack. So that's like the only downside. But basically it's a way to protect your other Fiend monster from being destroyed, which is kind of okay. Second effect reads, you can target a Fiend monster in your grave except this card. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Fiends. Also discard 1 card if you do special summon that monster. So it's essentially a monster reborn at the cost of 1 card. I mean it's not too bad, but still there are so many better cards than this one in my opinion. Alright, you guys, the last card that I'm going to be talking about in this video, it is known as Mariologic Aggregator, which is a rank 9 Dark Cyberse Exceeds with 2600 attack, 3000 defense, and requires 2 or more level 9 monsters. All three of the effects are once per turn. The first effect reads if this card is Exceed summoned, you can send 1 monster from your extra to the grave. Basically, it's an extra foolish burial, which is actually pretty hilarious, because if you have Monster Reborn in your hand, yeah, that's gonna be a problem for your opponent. Ooh, ow. Yeah, but basically it's an extra foolish burial, and if you have Monster Reborn in your hand, yeah, your opponent is gonna have some major problems. Major problems. Second effect reads, you can target monsters in your grave up to the number of materials attached to this card. Detach materials from this card equal to the number targeted. And if you do, attach the targeted monsters to this card as a material. Okay, that makes no sense at all. But if you have multiple copies of Xyz Import, or I believe you can also use Overlay Regen. If I remember correctly, I believe Overlay Regen might be another one you can use. Let's see. Yeah, so cards such as Overlay Regen, Overlay Eater as well. Not Overlay Out. Let's see. Yeah, so cards such as Overlay Eater and Overlay Regen are two of the major cards that they can use for this card to add even more materials onto it, which gives you access to basically gives you access to Zeus, which is not too bad. Third effect says, if this card is sent to the grave, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and negates effects until the end of the turn. I mean, it's an imperm, not too shabby. There's a note here that says, Mariology is the study of parts and the wholes they form. Alright, that's not too bad. But, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. That brings me to the question of the day. Do you believe that these ninjas will be meta? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which typically get posted on Tuesdays, sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And make sure you guys follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.